Steve Jackson Games is a game company, founded in 1980 by Steve Jackson, that creates and publishes role-playing, board, and card games, and the gaming magazine Pyramid. History. Founded in 1980, 6 years after the birth of Dungeons & Dragons, and before the height of role-playing games, SJGames created several role-playing and strategy games with science fiction themes. SJGames borrowed and expanded upon ideas pioneered by strategy game companies such as Metagaming Concepts, Avalon Hill and TSR. Despite these similarities, SJGames had a unique feel all their own and became popular with their releases. SJGames' early titles were all microgames initially sold in 4x 7-inch Ziploc bags, and later in the similarly sized pocket box. Games such as Ogre, Car Wars, and GEV were popular during SJGames' early years. Today SJGames publishes games of numerous varieties and genres. They also publish the book Principia Discordia, the sacred text of the Discordian religion. Raid Kickstarter project. In April-May 2012, Steve Jackson Games ran a successful Kickstarter.com campaign for a new, designer's edition, of Ogre. The final game, due to be shipped in November 2012, will weigh 14 pounds or more. Partly because the high level of extra funding achieved in the Kickstarter enabled significant game additions. Games published. Steve Jackson Games' main product line, in terms of sales, is the Munchkin card game, followed by the role-playing system GURPS. Card games. Battle Cattle. The card game, a card game, compatible with the Car Wars card game, based on the Battle Cattle miniatures system. Burn in Hell, a semi-satirical game centered on collecting circles of notable historical and contemporary people's souls that share common characteristics. Car Wars. The card game, a card game version of the Car Wars miniatures system. SJGeek, a card game parody of geek culture with many spin-offs and expansions. SJGoth, SJGreek, SJGrunt, SJGavera, SJCthulhu, SJDork, a card game centered on the characters in the comic book Dog Tower, collecting the objects they obsess over. Cowpoker, a card game partly based on poker mechanics with a central theme of Old West cattle ranches. Dino Hunt, a card game where players travel through time to capture dinosaurs. Features over 100 dinosaurs with color drawings and accurate scientific data on each one. Hacker, a modern-day card game based on the mechanics of Illuminati. Hacker 2. The Dark Side. Illuminati, a game of competing conspiracies based largely on the Illuminatus trilogy by Robert Anton Wilson. Originally published in microgame format followed by 3 numbered expansions. Later published in a full-sized box with expansions 1 and 2 as Deluxe Illuminati. Expansion 3 would later be reprinted as Illuminati. Brainwash. Illuminati. Y2K. All-card expansion for Deluxe Illuminati. Illuminati. Bavarian Fire Drill. All-card expansion for Deluxe Illuminati. Illuminati. New World Order, the collectible card game based on concepts in Illuminati. INWO Subgenius, expansion based on Church of the Subgenius concepts which can also be played standalone. Illuminati Crime Lords, a mafia-based variation on Illuminati which combines gameplay elements of the original Illuminati and INWO. King's Blood, a Japanese card game originally published by Kadokawa Shoten. Lord of the Fries, a game of zombies attempting to assemble orders in a fast food restaurant. Originally designed by James Ernest and published by Cheap Ass Games. Munchkin, a card game parody of hack-and-slash role-playing with many spin-offs and expansions. Main series Munchkin, Munchkin 2 Unnatural Acts, Munchkin 3 Clerical Errors, Munchkin 3.5 Clerical Errata, Munchkin 4 The Need for Steed, Munchkin 5 Deranged, Munchkin 6 Demented Dungeons, Munchkin 7 More Good Cards, Munchkin 8 Half Horse Will Travel, Star Munchkin 2 The Clown Wars, Munchkin Fu 2 Monkey Business, Munchkin Bites Two Pants Macabre, Super Munchkin 2, The Narrow Escape, Munchkin Impossible, Munchkin Cthulhu 2, Call of Cthulhu, Munchkin Cthulhu 3, The Unspeakable Vault, Munchkin Cthulhu 4, Crazed Caverns, The Good, the Bad, and the Munchkin Booty 2, Jump the Shark, Munchkin Blender, Munchkin Zombies 2, Armed and Dangerous, Munchkin Zombies 3, Hideous Hideout, Munchkin Axe Cop, Munchkin Dice, Munchkin Miniatures, Munchkin Apocalypse, Ninja Burger, a fast-paced ninja delivery card game based on the Ninja Burger website. Space Pirate, Amazon Ninja Cat Girls, a light-hearted competition between starship crews of cat girls in search of toys and loot. Spooks, a Halloween-themed card game where players try to get rid of cards from their hands. Board Games, The Awful Green Things from Outer Space, designed by Tom Wham and originally published by TSR. Battlesuit, a spin-off of Ogre and GEV, featuring infantry using powered armor inspired by Starship Troopers. Car Wars, futuristic battles between automobiles. Dog Tower, a fantasy game that takes place in the world the Dog Tower characters play their games in. Frag, a first-person shooter without a computer. Greed Quest, a light, randomized romp through a simple dungeon to gain loot. Nightmare Chess, a chess variant played with cards. Translation of the French Tempesta sur la Chiquia, published by Ludo Delira. Kung Fu 2100, a simple game of hand-to-hand combat where players use martial arts to smash their way into the Clone Master's fortress. Munchkin Quest, a board game variation of the Munchkin card games. Nanook, a board game of bidding and bluffing, centered on Inuit hunters. Necromancer, a fantasy game for 2 players, in which each player becomes a powerful wizard controlling the forces of the undead. Ogre, the classic simulation of future war involving a cybernetic armored juggernaut firing nuclear weapons. Designed by Jackson, and originally published by Metagaming Concepts. Ogre, GEV, a spin-off of Ogre focusing on futuristic but conventional infantry, artillery, and armor units. One-Page Bulge, a simulation of the German Ardennes offensive in 1944, with the rules printed on a single page. Proteus, a chess variant using dice to represent normal chess pieces. Shockwave, an Ogre GEV expansion set with new units and a new map. Ogre Reinforcements Pack, an Ogre GEV expansion set with new rules and replacement pieces and maps. Battlefields, an Ogre GEV expansion set with new rules, pieces, and maps. Revolution, a blind bidding area majority game. Snitz, 2 classic Tom Wham games, Snitz Revenge and Snitz Smashing, both originally published by TSR. Star Traders, a game where players race through space to deliver cargoes. The Stars Are Right, a board game where players attempt to change a 5x5 tile board through the use of cards, and gaining victory points based on certain constellations of symbols. Strange Synergy, a game where teams of warriors battle with a different set of powers each game. Tile Chess, a multiplayer chess variant which can be played without a chessboard. X-Bugs, a combat game where futuristic bugs are represented by colorful tiddlywinks. Role-playing games. GURPS, the generic universal role-playing system. In Nomine, a game about angels and demons based on the popular French role-playing game In Nomine Satanis, Magna Veritas. Killer, the game of assassination, a variant of Assassin. Munchkin RPG, a series of D20 supplements based on the Munchkin card game. Toon, the cartoon role-playing game. Transhuman Space, a near-future science fiction setting spanning the Sol system. Tribes, players play cavemen trying to protect and nurture their descendants. Partly designed by science fiction author David Brin. Miniatures. Ogre and GEV have also been published as in miniatures wargaming format. Cardboard Heroes, paper miniatures. Computer games. Autoduel, an action arcade game with role-playing elements. published by Origin Systems, Inc. Ogre, a computer version of the Ogre board game, published by Origin Systems, Inc. Ultra Corps, an online space strategy game originally developed by VR1. Dice Games Cthulhu Dice, a custom dice game where the faces are Cthulhu symbols, including the Eye of Horus, the Yellow Sign, the Elder Sign, Cthulhu, and Tentacle. You roll the dice to compete with others to be the last sane person left. Zombie Dice, a custom dice game where the faces are brains, shotgun blasts and feet. The goal is to push your luck stacking up zombie kills before your buddies. Proteus, a custom dice game where the faces of the dice represent chess pieces. The goal is to change your pawns into higher pieces and take over all your buddies' pieces. Magazines. Publication history. Gaming magazines produced by Steve Jackson Games have included The Space Gamer. Steve Jackson took over the magazine from Metagaming Concepts with issue number 27, and transferred the magazine to SJGames in 1982. The final SJGames issue was number 76 in 1985, and the rights were sold to Diverse Talents Inc. Fire and Movement, a wargaming magazine purchased from Baron Publishing, sold to Diverse Talents in 1985. Auto Duel Quarterly, home for Car Wars material moved from the Space Gamer. Fantasy Gamer, short-lived magazine split from Space Gamer. Role Player, replaced the Space Gamer as the company's periodical for their fan base until SJGames started the new generalist magazine Pyramid. Pyramid, published for 30 issues as a print magazine. Pyramid, Volume 2, published as an online, weekly, subscription-based magazine. Journal of the Traveller's Aid Society, SJGames resurrected Game Designers Workshop's old magazine as an online magazine. D20 Weekly, an online magazine devoted to the D20 market. Pyramid, Volume 3, a PDF-only version of the magazine. Mentions in third-party media. In Uplink, a 2001 computer hacking simulation game by British software company Introversion Software, there is a company named Steve Jackson Games. While this company may occasionally offer hacking contracts to the player, its main feature is a public access server which, if accessed, displays the following information. Steve Jackson Games Public Access Server. Attention: this computer system has been seized by the United States Secret Service in the interests of national security. Your IP has been logged. This jokingly refers to the 1990 raid by the U.S. Secret Service. As noted in the Ultimate Uplink Guide, this was put into the game because of the Secret Service raid on the company for supposedly making a hacking guide. This guide was actually a work of total fiction for a game the company was making, and contained technology that didn't even exist.